Hello to you, soul brothers and sisters, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the second episode of Spiritual Awakening series. Again, I repeat, in this series, I will relate personal incidents of my own spiritual awakening, and later on, I'll have some guests who will share their stories as well. The reason behind this is because a great shift is happening, and we all need to be prepared for it. So, before last time, if you feel you are going through hard trials, um, difficult things happening to you in your life, it's like never before. It's becoming harder and harder for you, whether in your job, whether in your finances, whether in your relationships, your marriage is collapsing, and whether you are relocating and you're forced to relocate, or whether maybe it's not that dramatic, whether you ask yourself, I mean, does do things really have to be that way? Maybe you ask yourself, do I have to slave from dusk till dawn to make a living, to just barely afford the rent and some food? I mean, what's happening? What are we, slaves? We are dogs or something? What is happening out there? And the answers, we may receive logical answers that, oh, we are too many on the earth and the resources aren't sufficient enough. While if we really look closely, we might find that very few have all the riches. And we are taxed for everything we do, for even if you want to go to the doctor or buy your medicine, and we are convinced, we have been convinced that this is how things are. There's a system taking care of us, and so on. If the events of the, I'm not gonna say that happened the name in 2020, the V thing, the virus that forced many to stop the routine of how things are, because we go into a routine. Okay, I wake up, I go to work, and I come back, and then in the weekend I go out with my friends and so on, and that's how life is. And we need to plan where to go or which people to invite for dinner, and things like that, find someone to love and travel, and yeah. But that's not it. That's not life. That's not the purpose of life, because if you dig deep within, you'd find there is something missing. If the events of 2020 did not cause you to question or the status quo or how things are, if you now are going through really tough trials, and you don't understand what's happening, just be really happy and glad, because the universe is pushing you, is urging you to awaken, urging you to awaken. The problem is that for the majority of us on earth, we're like these electrons, energy. We go into a pattern of behavior and we stick to that pattern, and it is only when something out of the ordinary happens that we stop and, okay, what's that? Okay, we need something to shake us out of the safe routine that we have been in and convinced that this is how things are. So the more trouble you are in, trouble after trouble after trouble, the more the universe is urging you to stop. As I mentioned in the previous video, my first video, I said that things became totally difficult for me from 2012 and until 2018. It was bam, 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 bam. It's like, what is happening? This is totally ridiculous. That's because they wanted me to awaken. They want us all to awaken. I'm not special. We all are special. And who are they? That's a long question that needs a lot of videos. It is our angels and guides, and they want us to remember who we truly are. Do you think we just came here this one lifetime? It may sound weird to some people, okay? There could be cognitive dissonance. Before I go into that, I will mention that there are different levels of people. Each one is at a certain level of personal awakening, and that is the collective level, something happening to all earth and to all of us. At the personal level, to simplify things, I might divide them into three categories. The first category are the people who totally, absolutely refuse the fact that something is happening on earth. There is something odd happening. They don't want to talk about any apocalyptic stuff, okay? Because for them it's something horrible would happen, and bloodsheds and stuff like that, and no, this would take thousands of years, and they will consider us, I mean, if you try to talk to them about, I mean, do you feel something strange happening, they would consider us as going cuckoo and crazy. I cannot tell you how many people have have considered me as such, you know, including and most importantly my family, of course, because they are the ones who we came to serve anyway, to clear our bonds, energy bonds with. And the only ones who would understand us are our soul tribe. And we started getting connected to our soul tribe since 2020, when our navel chakra got activated. And we started getting connected to all these people in different countries who resonate with us, with our frequency, and we've been helping each other and so on. And that's why I'm creating these videos, to help the new wave of people who will awaken, because more will awaken and more will awaken. So there is the category of people who refuse that anything is happening. They refuse any stories that talk about multidimensional guides, beings here connecting with us, aliens and stuff. What on earth are you talking about? You are crazy. That's the first category. The second category is the people who are now starting to awaken. The people who are now starting to awaken are having an extremely rough time. They are going through lots of challenges in their life, and difficulties and trials and so on, to awaken. But you have to know, if you are from this category, you are so loved. You are so loved. They so want you. If you only knew how many beings and guides are surrounding each and every one of us on this spiritual awakening and ascension journey, because it is happening. Yes, it is happening, and you'd rather know it sooner or later, because those who will awaken, the last group to awaken, will have so much to catch up with. It will be thrilling to some and shocking to others. It has been mentioned in prophecies. Many of the prophecies, I don't remember them because many of them talk about them. I will include a link below for you. I have free PDF files of lots of the Fatima's apparitions and lots of stuff, okay, videos and things, free for you to watch or read on my blog page, right? So Second category are the people going through real hard times now, and they don't know where to turn to for comfort or how to find solutions to the problem. Why did their life came to that? I mean, got so messed up. Again, as I was saying, this is because the universe loves you so much and wants you to awaken, because as I mentioned in the previous video, we did not come here to get an education, get a job, nice job, lovely house, lovely car, and be successful and have friends. And well, yes, we came to experience that, but this is not just it. There is much more to it. The third category are those who already have gone through this big shake and the bang, 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 bang to awaken. As I said, and this banging might take many years. I've been through that. I've gone there, and once you go through that, everything changes. Everything changes for the better. If you know, in the Bible, Jesus mentions the treasure. The kingdom of heaven is like this treasure a man finds in a field, this wonderful, wonderful treasure that makes his heart so happy. And then he goes and he sells everything he has and buys this land where the treasure is. So this is the kingdom of heaven. When you go through the spiritual awakening, everything you knew before, all the indoctrination, the status quo, whatever the patterns of beliefs, whatever you liked or whatever you do, you don't want any of that anymore. It might sound scary. No, it doesn't, because you are exchanging this for something much more wonderful, for so much love, for so much creativity, so much flow, so much freedom of being, so much you're going back to who you truly are, which is eternal, which is remembering that you are multidimensional and remembering things that might be shocking to you. That's why people might call us crazy, such as incarnation. And here I'm gonna say something, tell a story about cognitive dissonance, what we go through when we start learning these things, and how we reject them at first. So first, which category, where are you in this? You may comment below or share your personal experience. That would be wonderful. So about indoctrination and cognitive dissonance, how it happens. In my early 20s, I traveled to Brazil. I have a brother and two uncles. My uncles died. Now, one of my uncles, who was my godfather, also in Brazil, I had a hard trial, very hard trial. Okay, something was meant to be learned, and now it makes more sense to me. So my uncle at that time told me, you may not see me again. I might be gone from this earth. And it was true, bless his soul. He died after. He took me to Rio de Janeiro as a gift. And as I was with my uncle, he was talking to me about karma and about incarnation, and he advised me to read a book and so on. And in my mind, I didn't say anything to him. I was like, what is this? Blasphemy. Blasphemy, yes, that's because I come from a very religious background. I'm a Christian, yes, and my background was too harsh. Let's say my mom would shout every Sunday, wake up, you have to go to church, and it's the must do, and God will punish you if you do this and if you don't do that, and this, you know, the sin, the shame, the guilt, whatever you do, God is punishing, God is forgive us our sins, and so on. And I would, as I would say, I remember as a kid, as I would pray the Father, Holy Father who are in heaven, the prayer, and forgive us our sins, I would think, what sins is he talking about? I mean, what major sins have I done? And why did he come to die for my sins? I mean, this sounded weird. I mean, what's the major sin that I did at age 17 or 20? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't very convinced, and yet the indoctrination, because we are born in an environment and with people telling us that this is how things are, this is how reality is. And although we might think we are free thinkers, we are independent and so on, like this little voice in me that said to me, what sins, you know, this, there is still me in here asking, what is this? We still take from our parents and families and environment belief system, and it becomes ours by default without us even knowing that it's not ours. So the cognitive dissonance is when my uncle told me about karma. There's no word karma in Christianism. I mean, what is this Buddhism stuff? What is he talking about? And when he told me about incarnation, it was like, oh my God. This oh my God is cognitive dissonance, because for the 20 years I've been told one story, that this is the true story. We are the children of God, and we come to earth one time, and so on. But then also this voice in me would say, okay, and then we go to heaven and our soul is eternal, and we do what? We play the harp all the time? I'd rather go to hell, you know, maybe there's a party and a barbecue there. I'm sure many people would make that joke, actually. So there is this little voice inside that says there's something weird about the story, and yet we believe them. And yet we believe there is this only one life. And I just remembered a person I met here in Turkey. I was trying to help her find furniture and decorate her house, and she kept saying, we only have one life, we only have one life, and wanted so much to give herself physical, materialistic pleasure, and deep within, of course, I haven't told her any of the things I know or my beliefs. I was thinking, oh my God, self-indulging, doing all this self-centered stuff because we only have one life. That is sad. So back to the cognitive dissonance. Despite the voice within me that said that what's our sins, what are they, he died for, what's happening here, and all the questions that might come from within, the soul goes where, does what, why doesn't anyone tell us, and this shame and guilt, and we can do anything because everything is a sin. And okay, I'm not agreeing then on 100% with what I was told, and yet I believed what was told, because, you know, lest God be angry, or that's the only story I knew anyway. That's the only story I knew, I was exposed to. That's all I knew. So when my uncle came and hit me with the incarnation story, I rejected it. And that's cognitive dissonance. It's when we hear something that, if you want, I can't find the word. that opposes our own beliefs is different to our beliefs, we reject it. Okay, it does not fit in to the system of belief, cognitive belief system. So we reject it. It is cognitive dissonance. And then now when I started my if you want, spiritual journey, spiritual awakening, and when I started understanding who we are, remembering who we are, and how we came to earth many, many, many times. Yes, it might be shocking to some of the listeners. How did I know that? Because many of us now are starting to have dreams and visions about past lives. But at the same time, I mean, each one of us is at a stage in the awakening process, and it is happening. So if someone says, I am hallucinating, I am not. How do you explain that thousands of us are having these dreams, are remembering, and we are communicating with each other, and we are holding space for all humanity? What does hold space mean? There is praying, sending love, sending light to all our brothers and sisters on planet, waiting for everyone to awaken. We are doing that. And one day when those who are still asleep awaken, they will be doing the same, and they will understand the bullshit or schizophrenia that we were accused of. So then back to my topic. And this example I gave about incarnation was not the only cognitive dissonance I had. So when I understood through visions and things, and you know, the universe gives me this YouTube video at that particular time, synchronicities. This is synchronicities. When you see numbers 11, 11, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, or suddenly you need something and someone appears and gives it to you and it disappears, and things, weird things like that. The universe is supporting you. Your guides are with you. Okay, so they connect with you. They send you this book that you see on the shelf in a library, or weird, why did you buy this book about I don't know, esoteric topics, or about chakras, maybe, or something. Maybe you bought it and put it in the library and now you're using it. You see, it makes sense. It will make sense later on. So when this cognitive dissonance about incarnation happened, this means that I had to, and I was convinced. It was not forced. I felt it. I saw things. I understood things. I got sent videos. I got sent people from different countries who told me things about myself, and then they would disappear, and things like that. The universe will start doing this to you when you say yes to it, when you allow it to happen. To let go of this only one item, which is incarnation, that is not supposed to happen to us, it took many years. It took many years to let that go. So imagine how many more items. So it became part of me, part of who I am. I thought this is how things are. And to drop this one item, it took me many years. Lots of kicking and lots of bangs on the head, and repetitive videos that I would see, sentences that I would see. It's like someone is talking to me, someone is telling me something. So to drop one ideology, one indoctrination, it took me a lot of time. So imagine. And because it becomes part of who I am, okay, like a finger or something, you forget that it is even there. Until something opposing comes and challenges you, you will not even notice that you always wake up in the morning, oh, I'm so happy I have this small finger that I love, and you just, it is there, part of you. And so many other things have become indoctrinations, part of who we are, and we are not even aware that they are part of who we are. They will take time after time, event after event, for us to start shedding. It's like the layers of the onion. They use the layers of the onion. Why not the layers of the rose? They drop one after the other and one after the other until you start getting out of your system what is not yours. You thought it was yours because a group of elite people told you that this is how things are. But maybe they aren't. And when you choose to step on that journey, expect a lot of wonderful things to happen. Expect a lot of synchronicities. Expect weird events, feeling that you are guided, that you are supported. When this begins, it takes time first to awaken, but then it starts happening faster, like the snowball. It's like you want to know more and they send you more, and you feel all sorts of weird events that you cannot comprehend, that your education, religious background, or whatever cannot explain. And as you go looking for more answers, the universe gives. You just need to ask and you will receive. Ask and you will receive. This is what Jesus was telling us. He was not telling us about ask for a car, for a boyfriend, and you will receive. Maybe you need that, okay, you'll get it. Well, and it depends why we're asking, what's the purpose of learning, and so on. In other words, we are all going through series of tests. All of us, all humanity. Not one of us is exempted from that. The tests are for, well, let's assume that you started your awakening and you believe that we do incarnate. We have come here many times before. Let's assume you reach the point of knowing, of learning that we are multidimensional. I'll be talking about how I understood these step after step. I mean, how the universe assisted me in knowing these things. Let's assume you start knowing that we are connected somehow. Someone is helping you. You are not on your own. I just forgot the idea that I was talking about. So the idea, once you do this and you reconnect, what you want is this treasure in the field. You become so happy, so joyous from within, that you don't have to act to please anybody. You don't have to do anything. You just become who you are. And you become so happy that you are not alone, and you are guided and helped all the time, and you are loved. And this is what they fail to explain to us in the Bible. You are loved beyond measure, that no one is punishing you. Yes, I remember. We are all going through series of tests because to ascend, and Dolores Cannon said it, that we cannot shift into higher consciousness, 5D consciousness. Right now we are in 3D consciousness, that is like that, the material world, the job, the thing, the stuff, the relation. And 5D is when we reconnect, when we remember who we are, and that we are multidimensional. There is me here, there is my higher self, and then my next higher self from an upper dimension, and then my other higher self from other dimensions. I might be coming from different origins and places. So the tests are, because we came many times here, Dolores Cannon says it, when you come to Earth, you collect karma. There is no way to escape karma. And why there is no way to escape karma? I'll give a simple example. Remember when I told you I was a calm, sweet girl and innocent and had pure intentions, but then people started doing bad things to me, hurting me, and so on. And over the years, when you get a lot of hurt and it's kept inside, you either become angry or you get depressed or something, and you start projecting to others, whether we like it or not. Let's say if I am not conscious, of course, of my behavior, if I'm conscious, I may be able to control it a little bit. Let's say if you are with someone and that person got angry with you and it's unfair and humiliated you and did something, what would you do? You would what? You would fight back. You would be angry, and then when you finish, you go to another friend. You say, "You know what he did to me, or she did to me? He said this and that and that and that." And as you go about thinking about that thought, how this could have happened to me, I'm a good person. Why is this happening to me? All these angry thoughts are, as you later on, you'll start understanding these are negative energies. And as you think about them more and more and more, you are creating more and more and more of negative consciousnesses. These are your creations. Yes, these are our creations. And then that happened to me in my life. I had a very difficult mother. She later, I understood, she was hysterical. It was too hard to live with her, and I changed from being a calm person into becoming depressed, my absolute depression. And for years I hated my mom, and this hating and repetition of hating were my own creations, until I awoken and I understood what was happening and what is happening, what was supposed to happen, what was my lesson here in this particular family with this particular mom, that I was able to forgive her and love her, and whew, I got freed. It's like a cord that you cut. So this was one of the tests. You see, this was one of the tests. Other tests are attachment, emotional attachments, for instance, to a boyfriend that I fell in love with, and I couldn't forget, and I clung to that person. And as I did research later, it is passion amoureuse. It's passion. It's not true, pure love. And this clinging, this attachment, is to things, to people, to concepts, to thoughts, is what is keeping us prisoners here on earth and coming back again and incarnating again. When we do not resolve our issues with a friend or people who hurt us, when we do not forgive and so on, it's all energy. Imagine we are electrons and you put two and they repulse, and or two they cling, and then the main idea is for these electrons, they simply become neutral and they do not influence each other in a way. As I gave the example of the angry person, they get angry with us, they attack us, and so we respond, jump, pam, pam, pam. You see the energy. Or repulsant, I hate this person, I don't want to see them again. This emotion stays with me. And that is why, again, Jesus says, you cannot go to the kingdom of heaven until you have forgiven thy brother. Of course. And by brother, it does not mean the family where we are born. It's each and every soul on earth. Anyone we have issues with unresolved, they still remain in our energy field. And until we free ourselves, imagine these are like cords attaching us here, keeping us coming back and coming back, until we resolve all these issues. And in Course in Miracles, Jesus says, forgive and let go. It is the only way, but it should not be forced. That's the thing. It might take years. It took me, I don't know, more than 20 years to be able to forgive my mom. You understand? But when this happened the first time, it's like a snowball. As I said, you get the system, you understand what's happening, you understand how to let go of stuck emotions, and you'll get all the support from all the angels, from your monadic self, your guides, your everybody is there to support you on your journey. There is no dire thing you could have done that you cannot unresolve. Truly, sincerely, we come from love. We are love. And what is happening now is the apocalypse, as they portray it, is this awful, dire things happening to people and they'll be judged. I mean, this, if you think that you come to earth only one time and God will be punishing you, but if we come many times, and when we come many times, actually, our higher self, that is the closest, the highest self, that is in God, that is in Source, is the one deciding for us what to do. And when we get to that point of feeling who we truly are, and believe me, this is only the tip of the iceberg. There is much more wonder there. When we get there, we understand what this apocalypse is talking about. It's us awakening, remembering, getting out of the system, resolving our issues, feeling the peace within, feeling the love within, reconnecting to our multidimensional self, remembering, healing from each and every wound, because we understand that whatever happened to us, the issue with this or that person, because this is what they know. They don't know more. They couldn't have done any better. And when we understand that we are ashamed, let's say, of one of our reactions, I mean, why did I react that way? I have incidents that I'm not really, let's say, I'm not going to use ashamed of, because ashamed is low frequency energy. We don't want to go into low frequency. Okay, this is what the matrix, the people who kept us prisoners on earth, want us to feel and to be. They did not want us to open up and be in a state of joy and freedom, because once we are, we reconnect again with who we truly are. So what was I saying again? So the journey is a wonderful journey. It's a fantastic journey. Whether you are at the beginning, whether you are advanced in it. I'm making these videos because in the next few years, more people will awaken. To some, it would still sound as blasphemy, and they will still think we are weirdos. And I was still waiting for more people to awaken to start doing these talks, but then I said enough is enough. I need to talk. I need to say all this out, and whoever is there would listen, and maybe they'll be useful in a few years for anyone out there. But the apocalypse is a wonderful thing. It's not disaster. Even if the poles scientifically shift every 25,000 years, actually it's 24,926 something years, 24,000, let's say 25,000 years, the poles shift and they shift and they shift, and whenever they shift, there's collapse of whole earth. So is God playing awful with us? This is like destroying earth, and that's the cycle. It's like incarnating again, putting on a new shirt and coming again. When you understand that you are multidimensional and the person that you are here is only like a fraction of who you truly are, the fullness of who you are only like this one little 1%. Your higher self would not risk send more here of you, because it loves you so much, it cares so much for you. Okay, it sends a little piece of you here. Okay, once you start understanding all that, you understand that there is no punishment, there is only learning. We are going through the series of tests now. I'm talking about of letting go, of shedding what is no longer needed, of detachment, of so many things, until Dolores Cannon said we have cleared our karma. We cannot go into 5D consciousness. We cannot shift, because we cannot take any karma with us to the higher consciousness. Is very logical, because if we carry these stuck emotions and we go into a higher consciousness, and then we'll be projecting these hurts onto the people there and will be polluting the energy again. So we need to, the funny thing is that we need to clear our own selves, okay, out of our own free will, and with the help of many soul brothers and sisters that the universe would bring to our life, just as I was sent so many wonderful beings who helped me. So if you'd like to comment,